Hello, I'm Ben Bars, CEO of We Unity, and welcome to Catalyst Conversations. Today, I'm privileged to be joined by Steve Davy, CEO of Hydro Tasmania. G'day, Steve.
Hi, Ben. Pleasure to be here.
Fantastic to have you join us, and thanks for taking the time. You know, Mother Nature's certainly thrown an interesting experiment our way. How's everyone going there?
Yeah, well, Hydro Tasmania across the three brands. We are 1,200 people. 200 work in the consulting business in Tura, and about 400 work in the retail business Momentum, and the rest of us are here pretty much in Tasmania. And it's going well, I think, for the moment. We've got 1,000 people working at home of the 1,200, and 200 people working in the field.
Hydro Tasmania is a very purpose-led organisation. I don't think you can get any more purpose-led than renewable energy in the future of. Can you share with us a little bit about, the past that the business is built on, and what are your aspirations around powering the nation moving forward?
Yeah, here in Tasmania, the Hydro, as it was known, and now Hydro Tasmania, has always, been at the forefront of developing the Tasmanian economy and the Tasmanian industrial landscape and the Tasmanian community. So we started here in Tasmania building hydropower back in 1914, when the Tasmanian government took over a hydropower project that was being built to run a new zinc smelter that was being built at the same time. And here we are, more than 100 years later. We've built more than 30 hydro power stations in Tasmania. When it comes to the purpose, a lot of people that join the business have their own view about what we're about before they even get here. And what we found in Tasmania was that we didn't have to invent a purpose. What we had to do was connect to the purpose that our people already knew about. That they were here to keep the lights on, here to support the Tasmanian economy, keep the industry going, and also to support Tasmanians in their lifestyles.
So with three distinct parts of Hydro, so you've got Momentum, which is the retailing business, you've got Intura, your consulting arm, and then you've got Hydro, which is doing a lot of the building and the maintenance. Are you finding that purpose is playing a real role in keeping the organisation united?
We've still got 200 people that go out to our physical workplaces every day in the field, and we've got 30 power stations that we're keeping operating. At any time, there's 4 or 5 power stations, a few dams that we've got teams of people working on. So it's really important that we keep that going. Keeping the lights on for Tasmanians, keeping all our processes going so that electricity customers, gas customers on the mainland, our consulting clients are all being looked after. That's still really, really important. So, keeping our business going is part of our purpose.
With the current climate and the challenges that faces, can you talk to us a little bit about a couple of the particular challenges that you as the CEO have been facing?
As well as relying on our managers to understand each individual circumstances, we're trying to gather data about how people are feeling right now. What are their logistical problems working from home, but also what are the things that are worrying them about their current work circumstances. But also, if you're working at home, do you want to stay working home, or are you looking forward to getting back to work? And if you are looking forward to getting back to work, what do we need to do to support you in that process?
What have you learned about culture and its relationship or its connection with business performance since you've been CEO?
For me, the most important element of a culture at a place like Hydro is that people come prepared to offer everything they've got. And I don't mean that in terms of how hard they work, it's that they're using their full self. They've got their brain fully engaged, and the ideas that they've got are ideas that we want to hear. That's, to me, the most important thing. That we encourage people to share what they think, and that we encourage and use those ideas whenever we can.
Yeah, and with the future of work, I think there's a lot to be yet defined as to what new normal looks like or should look like.
Yep.
But in general, over the past sort of 4 to 6 weeks, have you seen many positives come out of this behaviourally? Are you seeing a change in productivity or decisiveness in the organisation?
For me, Ben, the positives out of this last 4 to 6 weeks are probably that we're more determined to stay connected with each other. So there's an understanding of how important that connection is. And so rather than it just being a byproduct of working together, our managers and our people are understanding that we need to make a conscious effort to connect. I'd say that's the first positive. I think one of the second positives is that because we now have to meet through these these strange electronic means, we're meeting through Zoom right now. We need to be more disciplined about how we organise those meetings, keep them sharper, make sure that we're consciously engaging each individual in the discussion, and being very clear about what our objectives are before we get the meeting started, and that once we've met those objectives, that we finish the meeting off.
Yeah, no, it's a fair point. I think on the one hand, people are talking a lot about being able to have more productive meetings, but at the same time, we're hearing more about just more meetings. In fact, people struggling to have loo breaks sometimes. So it's interesting to see how we can strike that right balance. At a more macro level, do you believe that COVID has accelerated the renewable energy agenda?
So as Australia recovers from the slowdown that the coronavirus has caused, or our response to slowing down the virus has caused, there's a huge potential to invest in renewable energy and other sustainable practices as we come out of this. There's no doubt that that state governments and the federal government and businesses are going to invest a huge amount of infrastructure in a huge amount of infrastructure over the coming years, and the time is right for low carbon energy and renewable energy, electric transport to be a huge part of that investment. So I think that Hydro Tasmania, Momentum, Intura are really well placed to be at the forefront of that investment.
Well, the team and I certainly wish you lots of luck with that, and couldn't sound like a more exciting next chapter. I do have one final question for you, Steve, and that is, if you could go back in time and visit yourself on day one of this job, what advice would you give yourself?
So Ben, if I was to go back and advise myself, when I started out being CEO, for example, 7 years ago, is do more, try more, back more ideas, try to change the organisation more, and try to change it quicker. I think there's the world is changing so quickly that it's businesses that innovate and transform themselves that are going to do the best. And we've done a lot over the past 7 years at Hydro, but if we tried more, we would have achieved more.
So pace and action would be your wise words back to yourself.
That's right.
Thank you for sharing. And Steve, thanks again for joining today and sharing your insights and learnings. It's always a pleasure to hear from you.
No, that's my pleasure, Ben. I'm really looking forward to seeing all the ideas that different leaders have shared as you've asked them these questions. It's an exciting process to be part of.
Brilliant. Well, stay tuned. And for all of those who've joined today, thanks for watching. I'm Ben Bars. Goodbye for now.